Run it, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.
All right, folks, welcome back to another edition of Who's Trades. We're going to start off talking about Tesla because I think we might have a little bit more upside to work through on this. We want to see it get back over this 200 level. Let's get into the chart a little bit here. So we saved, all right, we had this volume gap down to 150. They obviously saved it in the middle, around 165. Since then, we've kind of been trying to shoot it back up here. We do have this overhead resistance right at the 200 level you can see from here. I'm looking for that to get over that this week. I definitely would love to see it get over that. I think we got room. If we get over that, we got room up here to, 210, 215. There's obviously, pretty much, if you're going to play options on it this week, you probably want to be trimming at every dollar. We have come into a spot, where it's going to be challenging to play longs, simply because looking at ES here, we have reached the top of this downtrend channel. So I do think we're going to overshoot this most likely and head towards 4,200, but risk is really not that good for taking longs up here at this point. So with VIX so low, I think you do want to be focused on individual names rather than, trying to play ES, SPY, SPX, QQQ, because we have kind of shot out over these levels. Let's look at the Qs as well. As you can see, this thing is not quite back to the top of that channel. And it's got a little more room to go, looking, that 295 to 297 area. So that's why I kind of think I think we could see ES overshoot this channel a little bit, and we still got room for the Qs to come up into it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for into the end of the year. I don't think we're going to start, sending it back down for this crash quite yet that we might see next year in 2023, based on everything we're seeing as far as the chance of earnings coming down and the potential credit crisis and unemployment numbers starting to tick up as they've remained strong. Last week we had the non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate remained at 3.7%. We added over 260,000 jobs when they were only expecting 200K. So that's looking good in that aspect of the economy. But I do believe things are going to get worse into 2023. However, I don't want to be getting on the wrong side of this, this trend yet. We're still headed up, and I don't think don't quite want to be playing shorts yet, except for possibly on day trades when we're coming into key levels that we know we could short and just for quick scalps. As far as swing trades, I do think I want to wait till we get closer to 4,200 before I start thinking about that. And I will put out a video talking about that when I do decide, it's time to get short again. However, right now, we're going to kind of remain neutral until we see if we can break out of this channel. I always laugh when I see these headlines coming into the week. Stocks poised for slightly lower open. They obviously, right after, 6:30 p.m., right after the stock market opens at 6 for futures trading, they want to be first to get their headline out. And obviously, futures traders overnight, that doesn't determine which direction the market's going to go tomorrow. But we do have a PMI tomorrow. Let's see, at 6:23 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, the Dow futures lost 57 points. The S&P lost 0.2%, and the NASDAQ lost 0.2%. We did have that Russian oil cap put on last week, so we're going to watch oil this week as well. Crude oil futures were up 0.3% to 80.25 a barrel at right after the open here on Sunday evening. Brent crude rose 0.6 to 86.07 a barrel. We got some big earnings this week. Not really big as far as like Apple or Tesla or anything like that, but we got GitLab, Sumo Logic on Monday, AutoZone, which is a big earnings for a lot of people if you're holding shares in that. It's not something you really would play options on, but it is a good holding to have in your portfolio, especially the last couple of years. It's really performed well. I'm not sure I want to be holding that going into earnings though. Signet Jewelers, Stitch Fix, Toll Brothers on Tuesday. Toll Brothers will be one to watch. Brown Forman, Campbell Soup, Casey's General Stores, GameStop, and Ollie's Bargain Outlet. So the apes will be watching GameStop. Obviously, I think their earnings are probably going to be bad, but it did have a little run last week. We'll see what it does tomorrow. It could be interesting trading into earnings and then also after earnings. So we'll keep our eyes on that this week. Ollie's Bargain Outlet. These type of stores like TJ Maxx, all these stores that sell bargains have been really good in this, inflated economy. So definitely want to be watching names like that when they're reporting. Broadcom, Chewy, Cooper, Costco will be this week. Lulu as well. Lululemon Athletica. So Lulu has really been performing well leading up to earnings. I don't think there's much upside, left to play on that, as it's going to be hard to get that thing over $400 in a bear market. But we'll see how the earnings do this week, and we'll go from there. Vail Resorts on Thursday. Notable economic events: we got the S&P Global and the Institute for Supply Management released the Service Purchasing PMI, Purchasing Manager Index for November, and the Commerce Department releases figures on factory orders, shipments, and inventories for October. On Tuesday, the Commerce Department will report the U.S. trade deficit in October. On Wednesday, the Federal Reserve reports consumer credit data for October, and that's something I definitely want to keep my eyes on. This consumer credit data. That's the one thing I'm worried about next year is this potential for a credit crisis. We have had people racking up a lot of debt in this current environment, so we'll see how that goes. That's going to be an interesting number to keep an eye on. On Thursday, the Labor Department reports initial jobless claims for the week ending December 3rd. On Friday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics releases the Producer Price Index, so we got PPI this week on Friday as well. Definitely want to keep our eyes on that one. And then University of Michigan will release its Consumer Sentiment Index, another one we want to keep eyes on. So that's the data for the week that's, could potentially move the market. So we do want to be paying attention to that. And also we want to be paying attention to the levels we're trading at when we go into those numbers. And I'll get some updated videos out this week, when we get to that point. Starting the week off, obviously, somewhat neutral, as I do think we can have more upside in the end of the year, but it's going to be a difficult task. We have, started to see a lot of people starting to hedge and starting to get short again for the potential drawdown, especially when we come in. Anytime we come into these downward channel resistance levels, like I was saying, on ES, you're going to have people, trying to get this short off here. They're going to be trying to, get in some swing trades, starting to get their hedges, just in case we can't break out of this downtrend. However, if we do break out of it, 4170, we got some room up here. You can see back here and back here. This was 4170 was a big level, and then we got the gap fill up to 4221, which is going to be, right in this zone here. And that's the number I've been looking for into the end of the year. We'll see if we can get it. You can see that's where we tapped out right here. When we came in August when we started that decline, we did have a couple good days here where we, came back up and tested that 4220 level. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll definitely keep an eye on that because that could be the end of this rally if we do get there. And we could also be at the end of the rally now. So, I've been in swing trades since 3520 and 3600, so I'm still sitting comfortably in some runners. Obviously, we've been trimming all the way up, but it's not a spot I want to be starting to get long except on certain individual names. It's a stock picker's market right now, so that's what I'm focused on. I still like Tesla. I still like Microsoft. Microsoft had a nice little bounce back, which the whole market did on Friday. We got that non-farm payrolls number, which sent it down in the pre-market, but we pretty much bought it the rest of the day to get it back up here. I saved it. Looking at Microsoft, you can see we broke out of this range down here, so we're looking pretty good. We got to get over. We're over all these key levels, so we want to see it come up here into like 260 to 265 into the end of the year is what I'm kind of looking for. We'll see if we can do that, but they got earnings in January, so we got a while before earnings. But their last earnings, if you remember, it was a pretty good earnings, and they've sold off. Back here in July when they reported earnings, they absolutely lifted off up to 295, and then that was before we had that huge sell-off on Jackson Hole. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on Microsoft here because it has broken out of this, the balance it was in previously, and we'll see if we can continue a little bit higher into this, my level. I'm looking for this 260, 250 level. That's where my, big target is right now on my longs. So we'll see what we can do with that as well. Alright, so that's kind of what I'm looking for going into the week. We got some interesting numbers coming out this week. We'll see how we can perform, if we can, get a little bit more upside in the end of the year or not. I'm going to be putting some more videos out for beginner traders this week as well. I'm working on one right now, just talking about the basics of options and things of that nature. I'm also going to put out a video on how to deal with losses which every trader has, and you gotta learn if you're gonna be a successful trader, you have to learn to deal with them in a specific way. You cannot let emotions get the best of you. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. But as for right now, I just want to get a quick video out on what I'm expecting for the week. So, as always, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, smash that like button. Also, check out the Discord, Bullprint. Always got the link in the description of my videos. You get that free 2-week trial right now. Take advantage of that free 2 weeks. It's the holiday season. We're letting you get 2 weeks instead of 1 week right now. Take advantage. We got 5 great analysts sending bangers every single day. Just check it out. Give it a shot. I guarantee you'll want to sign up after you make some quick money real quick. Getting, filing those alerts and just, getting that education. We got 3 charting sessions, 3 nights a week. We have a voice chat. We're in there all day, every day during trading hours. So, be sure to check that out. I think you'll enjoy it. Once again, I love y'all. Peace. See you next time.